Welcome to a Purple Chips web update for September 7, 2012. I'm John Schwinghammer, the author of Purple Chips, published by John Wiley & Sons and available everywhere. The information contained in this presentation is based on the criteria of the Purple Chips model and is not intended to be a solicitation to buy or sell securities or investment advice. This presentation has not been approved by the author's employer. The information contained herein is believed to be accurate but cannot be guaranteed. Stocks can be risky and you should consult a professional before investing in the stock market. Today's update is about Google and Global Payments. Google is symbol GOOG on NASDAQ. GPN is Global Payments, symbol GPN on the New York Exchange. I just want to point out we have two extremes here. In the case of Google, we're at a very high valuation, and in the case of GPN, or Global Payments, we're at a low valuation. So let's take a look at these charts. This is the chart of Google, and as you can see, the bright purple line here is the EPS, the trailing 12 months EPS going back for the last, since the Google has been trading since about 2004, late 2004. And you can see a very nice progression on the earnings line. But in fact, we are trading currently very close to the high end of the range, or at least what we perceive to be the high end of the range. If you look at the top, that was back here. The trading price was back there also. And in effect, if you drew the earnings line, which is the current position, that looks like it's in the high end of the range. Now, some time ago, about 4 months ago, we were talking about Google saying that it was at a low valuation. And in fact, what we had was that the earnings line was down there. And Google was trading in this zone right here. And so we pointed out the low valuation, and then lo and behold, the markets had a rally, the perceptions changed, and people started buying Google and pushed up the valuations. And so now we see where we are today. We're at a nice lofty price. Now, I just want to point out that given the momentum in the market, it is not impossible that we could see Google going to another new high valuation, which would take it closer to 750 to 770. If the momentum continues, that's likely to happen. If we start fading in the momentum, then you'll see Google pulling back from here. Now let's take a look at Global Payments. Different situation. Let's see, just a moment. Okay, I'll just change my chart here. Now look at Global Payments. We've got the earnings line. The bright purple line is the trailing 12 months earnings going back for the last 12 years, and very nice profile there. And again, what we have a situation here where it's undervalued. So right now we're trading around $42, actually $41.63, and a very, very low valuation. When Global Payments hits a high valuation, the earnings line will be somewhere in this zone here, which would put a target around $54 to $56. And that's our conservative target because we always want to sell a little bit before what we perceive will be the actual high. It's not impossible that Global Payments could go higher than that, but for now, if you want to have a low-risk proposition, you buy at this level here, and you would sell somewhere in this zone up here, which would put the earnings line up there. So, and the reason I say that is because the earnings line, just for those of you who aren't aware of that, the earnings line is in effect linked to the last trade of the stock, and that's why we look at these things. We're always following. We look at the positioning of the earnings line relative to the stock's trading price, and that gives us a hint of what the valuation is. And so in this case, we're saying this is a low valuation because you can see the position of the earnings line is below all previous indications of the stock price here. And if it moved up to this level, it would be around the high end of the recent zone of the valuation. If I had to trace the valuation range, it would be something like this and something like this. So I would expect the stock to trade between, let's say, 42 and 54 as a reasonable valuation range. So that's all for today. I'm John Schwinghammer, the author of Purple Chips, and thank you for watching.